As I shared yesterday, it was my impression that I thought someone would win the election with a clear and decisive victory. I did not see this election being particularly close. I had guesstimated about 310. Based on some quick research this morning, it looks like it might be around 312 or so. Either way, we now have President-elect Trump back in office. What does that mean? What are my thoughts? I think there are a couple of things that are net positive in a big way. First, I think the elite, the dark state, the puppet masters who thought they could put up a candidate who never got a vote and just jam it down our throats is pretty resounding no. I don't know if you guys saw this. I think it was CNN. It might have been CNBC. I think it was CNN. Showed a U.S. map where Kamala outperformed Joe Biden and the map was empty. I think that tells you that the American public is smarter than what the dark state or deep state or whatever you want to call it thinks. Second, Hollywood. Hollywood clearly lost. All of the, I don't know, I'm going to leave the U.S. if so-and-so wins, all of that nonsense, all of these trite, vote for me stuff. Again, Hollywood lost. Oprah lost. The big loser in all of this, and I couldn't be happier, is traditional media. I think one of the things that we learned in this election, in my opinion, is that long form content where you could really have deep and sometimes wandering conversations is a great way to learn about someone. Instead of the 7-second sound bites, instead of the teleprompter reading, instead of hiring rappers and singers to come fill up a stadium. I think we've learned that elections, or at least the run up to an election, will never be different. I suspect large podcasters, large, folks who have large audiences will benefit. And traditional media has to look itself in the mirror. They've been creating lies and stories, even though they've been debunked and still saying them. I think there is a lot of lessons, and frankly, I am hopeful. I don't really watch traditional media because it is always toxic and doom, and if it bleeds, it leads, and all of those things. So I think there's a lot of losers. Other things that I think about is, it's really why I called 310 yesterday, it was always the economy. You can't have 75 to 80%, depending on exit polls, saying that they are doing worse off and elect the incumbent. That never made sense to me. How could you elect an incumbent when 75% of the people you talk to say their life is worse off 4 years today than 4 years ago? That just never logically made sense to me. The fact that all of these pundits were talking about a 50-50 race, I'm like, guys, I don't know what you're talking about. It's the economy, stupid. I think that was George Bush, but I could be wrong. So again, it was always the economy, in my opinion. Second, turnout matters. Turnout matters. One side of the fence was very passionate about their guy. Their guy had been prosecuted. Their guy had been lied about. Their guy had been shot at. He'd been shot, actually. There was a second attempt. One of the groups were passionate, and the other didn't show up. Again, based on early counts that I saw this morning, about 20 million less votes than the last election. That's telling. That's telling. A secure border and legal migration is the way. Stressing the word legal migration. Legal migration has always been a part of the American core, right? We are, frankly, a land of immigrants. And it has always been legal migration that is the way. I think when there is a autopsy on Harris campaign. I think there's a couple of branches that are pretty clear. One, in fairness, I think she had 100 days or 105 days or something. That is a very short time to introduce yourself, to distance yourself, to tell the stories. I think it was The View. I could be wrong, but I think it was The View. The View did Trump a huge favor when they asked her what you would do different than Biden. And I think she said something like, nothing comes to mind or something like that. Mistake number one. Mistake number two was not accepting the opportunity to go on Rogan. Now, of course, there's lots of people guess that she couldn't do it. She couldn't do this. She couldn't do that. It would be a complete disaster. We don't know. But ignoring an audience of millions of people in folks that may not vote for you, that's where you should go. You should go into the lion's den and see if you can't tell your story and scoop some of those votes. Again, as I was watching the states go yesterday, it's not about sometimes winning all of the zip codes or counties or townships, but it's about doing better. You can't win them all. You shouldn't try to win them all. You can't win them all. But if you can do a little bit better in each of the locales, that could help. Traditional media dead. I mean, I've written that down 3 or 4 times, and I couldn't be happier. A media that sensationalizes, a media that tries to create negative emotions and fear needs to go away. We are a land of builders and hope and want to be rewarded for doing the work. We want to see and have hope for a better future. Fear, crash bros, doom lost yesterday, in my opinion. I thought Mark Cuban had a very good quote. I think he was on the All In podcast when he said, hey, Harris is smart. She just has a long windup. I think it's clearer than that. I think it's been said hundreds of times. It'll be said again. Word salad. Just word salad. Not a great choice. And never got better. It's not like you would think if you give out hundreds or whatever his speeches, you would get better. You would get more succinct. The word salad never stopped. Again, the election had lots of name calling. Trump loves to, what does he call him? Crooked Joe Biden. And I forget his nickname for Harris. Clearly insulting names. But only, our sitting president called half the country garbage. A speaker for Harris said only weak women are around Trump. You don't make fun of the electorate. That is never a good idea. You don't want to stir emotion. When you get emotion involved, you get people that will stand in line for 2.5 hours to say F you. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get people pissed off, right? Because then they're going to stand in line and keep doing that. Again, I wrote down long form podcasts are a winner. Don't talk about the American public. If you want to name call and, call out people that are in the politicians, clearly that has always been there. Now let's talk about what has resulted this morning. Has anybody looked at the financial market this morning? Everything has changed. It's going to get interesting. The 10-year note. The 10-year note is up 15 basis points last checked. At one point, it was up 18 basis points. Of course, what does that mean? Mortgage rates are going higher. Also, it actually is interesting to me. I wonder if Trump winning the election almost forces the Fed into a 50 basis point cut tomorrow. I don't know. Kind of an interesting thought. Again, they want to get back to neutral. Why wait? I don't know. I think it's worth a discussion. Don't know if you saw Bitcoin. It's been said that Trump will be the first Bitcoin president. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't follow it, but clearly something happened. Bitcoin hit 75,000 yesterday for a new all-time high. Looks like the stock market, at least based on the indices, are ripping across the board. I do not know if they will hold. Sometimes you get an open and they roll over. It does look like Tesla got a great bid, right? Tesla is seen as a winner. Clearly, the Biden administration didn't appreciate Tesla called, I think, GM, the EV leader, when they made like 25 cars, just insulting and stupid. So Tesla is spiking. It does look like the Republicans took the Senate. There is a chance they take the House. I didn't get any numbers on that this morning. It is too early to call, apparently. But there's a chance for the red wave or the sweep or whatever you want to call it. And I want to shout out Joseph Wang. Joseph Wang's been on the channel a couple of times. He put out a series of tweets yesterday, basically saying what we talked about 8 months ago. The crash up is real. The crash up is real. What does that mean? Own assets. That's what it means. Own assets. Again, when we look at what is possible, I think there's a couple of things that we can start to bet on. There will be tax cuts. Where and how much? No idea. But one thing you can count on is there will be tax cuts. Will QE be forced to return because of deficit spending? No idea. I hope not. You want more inflation? Spin up QE again. Tariffs. I don't think there's any question that we will have more tariffs. I do not think it will be a 60% or 100% across the board thing. I think it will always be a scalpel and not a sledgehammer. I think solar stocks are in trouble. I think anybody who relies on a business model that requires Chinese cheap goods, problem. I think the housing market, the market that you and I care about the most, or at least I care about the most, it's got some headwinds. I mean, seriously. I have been talking about mortgage rates being over 7% for 2025. I mean, do we have to start talking 8%? I don't know. With a 10-year note ripping 15 or 18 basis points, depending on the moment, you got to ask yourself, right? Are we going back there? Labor. I don't think there's any question that there will be some activity around deportation. I think the fact, again, I don't know if these numbers are true, but the fact there were 15,000 or so, bad guys lit into the country, that's a problem. I suspect there will be a focused effort to find and relocate those individuals. Again, how much? Don't know. But I think that's fair. Tariffs. Again, a lot of the goods that come into the U.S. economy for housing is from foreign countries. Will there be some tariffs on some of that stuff? Not out of the question. Certainly possible. So again, lots of things to think about. I do want to congratulate. We got one brand new school member yesterday. Jonathan, thank you for joining. When you join school, Jonathan, do me a favor, introduce yourself. Tell people your buy box, what you're doing, a little bit about yourself. Get to level 2, which is pretty easy to do. Send a few comments, do those things. So you can get 6-hour masterclass on creative finance. Get to level 3 and you unlock a really big goodie, a 10-week boot camp, which again is something that folks paid $1,000 for. So you can go get that. At the end of the day, as I sit here this morning, hope wins, right? You need to do the work. The government is not coming to save you. You are not going to get a $20,000 check just because you breathe. The government is not there. You need to worry about your household. You need to worry about getting better, increasing your skills. You need to worry about discretionary income. You need to worry about investments. You need to get a buy box, discipline. You need to get in the right room. You need to get in the room with builders, with people that want to build a better future. And what I hope to provide at One Rental at a Time is that platform. Is that platform for individuals who want to own their future, who want to take personal accountability, who know it's going to be a decade. It's a decade, folks, to build something of size. But it starts with a decision. To me, it is just like the classic cartoons of my youth, where you take this wet snow at the top of the mountain and you roll it downhill. It starts very slowly and very small. I can't help it. It's just the journey. Everybody's journey is the same. The first 5 years suck. It's where you make the mistakes. It's where the momentum, where you can't feel the momentum in the first 5 years. That's one of the reasons our school community is here. It's one of the reasons I show up for you 5 days a week to give you encouragement. Trust me, I've been there. I've had the moments of indecision. Is it worth it? It's worth it. Your family, your future will welcome you for doing the work. We're going to keep showing up. I hope you keep showing up. Like, subscribe, comment. We have a new President-elect Trump back in office. But again, as I said yesterday or the day before, nothing changes. Focus, daily discipline, get in the right rooms, keep doing the work. Don't get distracted. I won't. I hope you won't. Folks, take care of yourself. I hope you have an amazing day. I will ask you to do me one favor. There's obviously roughly half the country that wanted the other candidate. Be gracious. Be a gracious winner. Don't be hateful, right? The other side was full of hate and name calling and garbage and weak. Be better than that. Take the victory, smile, and just move on. Just know that your side won, the other side lost. We're all Americans. We are all Americans. And never forget that. Never forget that. All right, folks, like, subscribe, comment. Be amazing. Take care. Later.